Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Infinity Skyblock Evolved, Infinity Evolved Skyblock with Christoph97. Today we're going to be talking about logistics pipes, one of my favorite mods, and I'm going to kind of help you guys through it. So, the first things you're going to need from the mod are, I'll kind of just explain how it works with this barrel wall here. We're going to be pretty easy. So you're going to need a power junction. That's the first thing you should probably go for. They're not too hard to make. They just take, if I can spell it right, there we go. Just iron and redstone. It's really very, very simple. You'll need a power junction because you need to convert whatever power you have coming in from your system to this new... That is so strange. To the new... system, or to the new logistics system. And so you're going to have to hook it up to some kind of power source. And the logistics power junction will do that for you. So now, coming out of the junction, the next thing you're going to need are these basic logistics pipes. And you can just run those, however you want. For example, I'm just going to run ours just like this really fast. Just kind of down in front here. That's really all we're going to need for now, just to show you how it works. The next block you're going to need is a soldering station, which is basically the mod's crafting table. Now you got to place that down connected to your logistics system, and what you do is you place a bit of iron here and you can craft stuff. The first thing you should craft is going to be the logistics request table, and this is basically what you're going to use to interface with your logistics system. So we're just going to place this down here. You saw everything light up and accept the new block. Now we kind of have this cool interface, but we'll get back to that. So soldering station, logistics request table, and logistics is all about pipes, moving items. It's about logistics. It's about, really easy stuff. And it's basically going to make our lives easier, because instead of running to each of these barrels and going, okay, I need a stack of these, and then I got to craft them up, and I got to get my ore gravel, run over to the pulverizer, put it in or whatever. I don't have to do that anymore, because with logistics, we can do that just automatically. With logistics pipes, we can do that, and I'll show you how. So there's a few different sets of, or kinds of pipe here I have. These are supplier pipes, and that's what I'm going to teach you about first. So, if like earlier, when we click on our request table, we don't have anything in here. There's nothing we can really do. We can use it as a crafting table. We can craft things, but we don't want to do that. Okay. So, to interface with our wall of barrels and to show that we have those items in our request table that we can request, we need this specific pipe. We're going to talk about all these pipes, but we need this specific pipe, the provider logistics pipe. So we're going to take some of those. And for example, I want to provide these iron gravel ore things to my logistics table. So I want my logistics table to have the ability to see how many items are in this barrel. And the way you do that is with the provider pipes. So we're going to go ahead and stick a provider pipe next to that barrel. And when we click on here, it shows here, oh, we have 4,000 of those. Awesome. So say I want to request those items. Say this is like farther away. It's not right here. Say I want to request, I don't know, 64 of those. Boom. And then they come down the pipes, clear over to our request table, and we can just go ahead and craft them. Now we can say how many we want to craft. You just add or whatever, but now I can't remember how to craft these. Alright, so now that I've figured it out, you can request directly on the crafting table. Say you want to request one recipe, you say that, it'll request enough for one recipe. If you want to request 10, you do this, and if you want to request a whole stack, you do this. And that'll request an entire stack for us. And once everything is kind of requested, we can go ahead and just craft everything just by clicking on the item. and it will just go ahead and do the crafting recipe that it has available for us, which is really cool. Very, very cool. So now we have iron ore supplied, and we can use it at our little request table. It shows us how much we have in inventory. But what's cool is that not only does it work for one item, but whatever inventory you have attached to the system, it will work for. So we're just going to go ahead and kind of attach stuff up a little bit here. And over here, it shows us how much of each we have everywhere. Pretty cool, pretty cool. So yeah, so that's the provider pipe, and that's how that works. So that now that we have a little bit of things to work with, I'm going to show you the automatic crafting that this mod has to offer. So we're going to take a little bit of logistics pipes, and we're just going to go out here just for demonstration purposes. And this is how it works. So you're going to need a logistics crafting table. You're also going to need a crafting logistics pipe. So we're going to go ahead and place this on our network here. And what I like to do is hook up a crafting pipe. Now in this pipe you need a wrench, like with any buildcraft pipe, you need a wrench to access this. And you can choose you know, what to be imported or what, and we'll get to the satellite one later, but crafting tables from logistics pipes are able to store certain recipes. So we'll just go ahead and request enough for one. We'll go ahead and get that. And we're going to put in our recipe. And then it shows what we need. And then the crafting pipe, oh, usually it will show, but we can just do this. Just like that, 4. Okay. There we go. Actually, an easier way that I remember now, if you have your pipe connected to your table, you could just hit this, you can hit import, and if you already have a recipe set here, it will just import the recipe into your crafting logistics pipe, which is very, very useful. So we'll do that. We're going to put these back into the system. If we do that, oh, we don't have a input pipe actually, so that's not going to work at the moment. That'll work later. So yeah, say I want to craft this. All I want to do, let's see, just to prove this. Pretty sure. Oh, that's right. You click over. So in your request table, it shows that we have 0, but we have availability. It's available to us. So we can go ahead and request, I don't know, let's request a stack. I remember now. This is a little different, but I remember. 64. So we'll hit OK. Let's say OK. All of this is going to be sent from the little supplier, or not supplier, excuse me, provider, over to the logistics crafting table, where it gets crafted just about instantly, and this can be shot back over to our request table because it's making iron gravel ore. Super sick. Now, something that's a little more sick. Or cool, I guess not really sick, but you can add 2-step crafting processes. So for example, you want iron ore, or iron ingots, excuse me. You can add a crafting recipe and hook it up. I'll show you, I'll give you an example. Actually, these are all kind of bad examples. I need a pulverizer would be a better example, but I'm using it currently. But anyway, maybe I'll just use this as proxy here. the logistics crafting table, I'll just use it as a proxy. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to use a satellite pipe, which is like it's an extra pipe that you use in conjunction with a crafting logistics pipe. Now the satellite pipe you could really put anywhere on the block, but it does matter on some, like inputs and outputs are all generally, you know, per mod, so you kind of got to follow the rules of the mod. But for a pulverizer from MFR, it's really, or not MFR, sorry, thermal expansion, you could really do whatever you want. So we're going to add this satellite pipe. And basically what that does is gives you greater control at where you put the items in. So for example, if you're running an induction furnace or, you know, something like that, you'll have 2 different things. So you have a crafting logistics pipe, just throw it on there, or whatever, pretend this is our pulverizer for now. Now what you're going to do is you're going to export iron ore gravel. Well, you're gonna go here, you're going to put iron ore gravel here, and then you can actually manually put the input in there yourself, and you can put the iron dust that you get from the pulverizer. You just have to do it like once, and then whatever, you just set it to that. Once you have that, and say you also had the crafting table before that did the iron ore, with that you can craft straight iron dust. You don't even have to craft the gravel. You don't have to. You could, but you don't have to. You can just hit dust, and then you can craft whatever, like 256, and it would do it. It would craft the gravel first, then it would craft the dust. That's what makes this system so cool, is that you can add kind of a tiered crafting system. And so that's what I want to do to my base, is add a crafting system. We're going to talk about these pipes in a minute. That's what I want to do to my whole base. I have, what I did, I've changed up a little bit. I'll just go through my base again. So we have the BC laser system here with the assembly table and integration table. We got a little chest to catch their stuff underneath here. This is just some extra machines that I needed to use. But yeah, the power is going to be coming up from down here. And I kind of added this second layer just to kind of get stuff out of the way from up there. So here's our big storage area, and I have these slabs here to kind of prevent certain items from being stored. For example, we're trying to store, well, everything that we can make here is storable right now, so these don't really matter, but whatever. It just makes it so they don't get set to different items. I don't want these barrels to be set up yet. So yeah, we got bar storage over here, and then we got like other materials from sifting and stuff like that over here. Excuse me. And so yeah, it's a really good way to store things. So yeah, basically we're gonna set up providers on all these so that I can access my entire inventory of really good stuff. And eventually we'll move the farms over here too, and just kind of get some better input. So we got that. We're gonna, all this room over here we have for like auto crafting and stuff like that, so that'll be cool. Yeah, and so I moved the power plant and stuff down here. It's basically the same setup as I had up there, but we're just running everything down here now with better storage. We have a kind of a little teeny ore processing center, and so it gets, I don't want it to combine. I wonder why this block is getting certain things. Oh, that's why. That's why. I found you. You rogue request or retriever pipe. Found you. Okay. It's kind of a little complicated setup, but I'm basically just using thermal dynamics, item ducts, and servos. I'm using retriever servos to pick what I want to compress and turn into ores. For example, these things I'm not doing anything with, so I actually do not want them compressed. And then I can just import them to my system like so. And it just gets everything from sieves, blah, 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 processes it, and then it puts it over here. So awesome. So a really, really easy setup. Not terribly hard. Maybe I'll go over thermal dynamics one of these times. But yeah, I want to do this whole logistics pipe setup to the base, and it's going to be flippin' sweet. It's going to make my life amazing. Just so I'll have everything. So there's a couple things I didn't go over. So we're going to go over them with logistics pipes. Supplier pipes and request pipes. And they both have their uses. So for example, you couldn't get a logistics request table. You just don't have the materials to make it. You couldn't build it in the soldering station or whatever. You can make a request pipe, which they're pretty easy to make. Just a gold gear, iron gear, and some basic logistics pipe. Pretty easy. So we're going to hook that up to our system, and you can actually just use a wrench. You just right click on this guy, and you say, oh, so I got some providers hooked up to a barrel wall, and I can request, oh, I need some copper, so I'll get copper, and I'll request a stack. Boom. And then a stack of copper will shoot out of the pipe, and you'll pick it up. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. So let's put this back if we can. Okay. And so request pipe. It's basically just the table, but without the crafting and without the auto stuff. Yeah. It's basically just the one side of the table, but you need a wrench to access it. That's right. Okay. And then supplier pipes. Say, for example, a little ways away, you have a farm, and it needs fertilizer. Like, it constantly needs fertilizer. So we're just gonna pretend here. We're gonna go a little ways away, and then our farm's over here. We're pretending, and then we're gonna put our chest for fertilizer, and this is where we want it to be. Now we can have a supplier pipe attached to that chest, and what that supplier pipe is gonna do is just supply that chest with a certain number of items or fertilizer, which we want to do, and we can configure it here. We could say request mode. You can say infinity, so it always keeps the chest full of good stuff, or partial, or full, or whatever. We're just gonna use the basic, the default one, which I think is 1 stack or something. But you gotta choose what item, and it has to be hooked up to a provider pipe, or else it won't go over there. So we're just going to use iron ore, for example. Or iron gravel ore. We'll just put it right there. Basically, that's going to pull some little bit of iron gravel ore. And it just makes sure this chest always has some. Now, I don't know about you guys, but my farms use a lot more fertilizer than just 1. So let's turn it up a notch. Let's do bulk 100. I'm thinking that's only going to do a single item as well. So what we're going to do is just do infinity, and that'll start pulling everything. Yep. And that means the supplier pipe will always pull items. It will just keep pulling items like non-stop, even when the chest is full, and we don't want that. So let's just do full. And so yeah, that'll be good to have. It's not pulling the way I want it to. Maybe I have something confused here. Maybe it does stop on infinity, I'm not sure. Oh, I wonder if there's a limit. Yes, there is a limit, because okay. So this can only request so many at a time because it's a Mark 1. Now in logistics pipes, there's like different marks or tiers of pipe. The higher the mark, the more it can request and move at once. But for a basic setup, you really only need Mark 1 pipes, so you should be fine. But yeah, that's like the very basics, kind of weird tutorial on logistics pipes. Not really in depth, but I think when I get it all set up on the base, I'll just kind of show you what I've done and how it's going to work. So yeah, I'll be right back with a fully functioning logistics pipe system. Now over here at my power plant, which unfortunately is getting cold, this is where I have my input, my item hopper here. And so what I can do is take a logistics pipes and just place it here. Yeah, that seems right. And then I can say request pyrotheum dust. Now any pyrotheum dust that the system is making will be placed in the high pressure boiler. Now I don't want that per se. Let's say, oh, no, don't take that. I just want a supplier. We already learned about suppliers earlier. And what we're gonna do is bulk 50 means half, keep it half stocked, which I don't really care. Bulk 100 means when it's all the way out, you start adding. Infinite just means always pull pyrotheum dust when you can. Partial, usually in my experience, is only pulled like 1 or 2, usually. But let's do, since it's a hopper, let's just do partial. And what we can do is just take this pyrotheum dust and it's going to automatically be placed in here, which is really cool. But to do that, we just got to run a couple pipes here. So we're just going to run this all the way. We don't have to use logistics pipes. You can actually use just straight up buildcraft pipes. Oh, since those items have destinations in the system, they're getting routed. Let's not do that, because I have a kind of a method I have for that right now. That's funny. Okay, so we'll just run this over to here, like so, and over to here, and boom. And so the supplier, this guy, is always gonna stock pyrotheum dust into that hopper. Now there's no pyrotheum dust in the system, and so I kind of want to change that. I need another supplier, which I was making golden chipsets for. So we'll just run up to the laser table and go grab a golden chipset and make some suppliers, or not suppliers, sorry, providers. Provider pipe, where are you? I feel like I'm glossing over it every time. There you go. Oops, thought I had a crafting table selected. There we go. Get some providers. Okay, so now I'm just going to add, since I don't have a barrel for pyrotheum dust, I'm just going to add it right. Let's do it here. So supplier, or provider, pyrotheum dust. We're going to lock this chest. Then, oh, there it goes. It just sent one item over to the hopper. I'm going to add these two, because I added pulverized coal. So let's import that and import this. And now we have a place to take from and store coal dust and pyrotheum, which is sweet, super sweet. So now I think this is automated to the point where if the power plant ever ran out of fuel, it would send stuff over to the crafter, craft a pyrotheum dust, and then it might put it back here first, but eventually it will put it back in the power plant because of the supplier over there, which is really freaking cool right now because it's keeping our power production going on, which actually we're not making that much power because I let the boiler get cold. But it's okay. This is actually really cool. This is gonna give us so much power. It's gonna speed things up so quickly because everything is automatable now. I can automate machines. I can automate crafting of things. I can automate the power plant being stocked. It's so good. Logistics pipes is so good, and I'm not even using it to its full potential. There is so much more. Like the whole system I have down here could be way better, way more compact. So yeah, I'm glad we got this all set up. Took me a little while to do that. But now we have a lot of logistics pipes, and I kind of want to make the system a lot cleaner. It is kind of messy right now, but it is working. It's not working the way I want it to, but it is working pretty well. Oh, one thing, from my ore gen and my ore processor, everything goes into this chest, and this chest has a little pipe on it called a chassis. I didn't explain this pipe earlier in my explanation. Basically what a chassis pipe is something you can put modules into. Now there's a whole bunch of different modules you can use, like item sync modules, passive supplier modules, extractor modules, you know, and they all have their own different things. I won't go into detail about them, but I will go into detail about the quick sort module. Now quick sort module is super cool because basically what it does is anything in this chest that has a destination that has a higher priority than the default destination, it will sort those into your inventory. Now anything that only has for the default destination, anything that has for the default destination, this won't pull out. Like for example, if this gets an item where it doesn't know where to put it, for example stone's lap, it's not going to put it anywhere because there's a default destination, but there's no place to sort it other than the default destination, so it's not going to put it anywhere. But so that's one downside to the quicksort pipe. But the quicksort pipe is amazing because it lets me sort everything I can get infinitely into my barrels, which is beautiful. So that's really cool, really good. So yeah, I think we're doing pretty good. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun soon. So I think this is gonna wrap up the episode, guys. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and click like. If you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe. Alrighty guys, thank you very much, and have a good night.